refuse to accept my sister's relationship with my ex. I refuse to accept your sister's relationship with your ex. Crazy. This story came September 28th, 2021. My 25 female father married my stepsister's 23 female mother when I was 4 and she was 3. We lived together most of our lives and are a family. She and I were extremely close. She developed cancer when she was 14 and was sick for about 2 years. That's really sad. She's since made a full recovery. During that time, my parents became understandably overprotective. They also asked a lot of me. I quit my extracurriculars so that I could get a job. The money went towards her medical bills and so I could drive her to her appointments. I didn't go to dances and any fun activities I did needed to include her. I did almost all of this willingly, the exception being having to quit my high school volleyball team. I did throw a bit of a tantrum about that, but was swiftly punished. And I think having one emotional breakdown was pretty chill given the circumstances. I think it's pretty chill if I have only one emotional breakdown a week. Anyhow, I go to college and I meet my ex, we'll call him Ben, when I'm a junior. We fell in love, blah, blah, blah. He and I move in together when we graduate, so we've been living together for about 3 years. We were serious until July when I walked into my bedroom and saw him screwing my sister. I broke it off. Tears were shed. He moved out, etc. My sister apologized at first, but then backed off. I thought she was giving me space, but last week she called and asked if we could meet up. She told me that she and Ben were in love and were just telling me as a courtesy before they started posting Before they started posting photos online. I should finish the sentence before I freak the courtesy to tell me you love each other before posting photos online? The courtesy? Ma'am. The courtesy would have been to never been with my man when I was with him or after or any of that at all. The courtesy, that's hilarious. Distraught, I left her in the restaurant by herself and did not pay my portion of the bill. She later Venmo'd me asking for the money. She told my parents, who then called me to their house telling me how disappointed in me they are for not supporting my sister's relationship with Ben. What do you mean? It's my relationship with Ben. As of yesterday, I was in a relationship with Ben. This is insane. They brought up the fact that because she had cancer as a teenager, she never learned proper social etiquette and has a hard time meeting people. I don't buy this, in part because I've seen her socialize just fine. And since we spent a good chunk of the time that she was sick together, that would also mean that I should have bad social skills as well, by that logic. They then told me that if I don't accept my sister and Ben's relationship, they may have to go no contact with me. I reminded them that I'm also their daughter and they should understand my point of view, but they are adamant that this is about me being jealous of her. Remember that emotional breakdown I was saying? I'm about to have one. For the record, I'm not jealous of her. I'm not upset that Ben picked her over me. I'm sad about the end of the relationship and I do feel betrayed, but Lord knows that I don't want to be with a cheater. What I'm upset about is the fact that my sister chose Ben over me. That she slept with Ben knowing he and I were in a long-term committed relationship and continues to be with him knowing how much it hurts me. Now, no one in my immediate family is talking to me and I'm getting messages from aunts and uncles and cousins telling me that I'm the a-hole and I'm selfish. Guys, I'm going to lose my mind. Thank God that's not me in that position. You would see me on the news with a mugshot. Edit. To be honest, while I've had moments where I've been resentful or upset about my teenage years, I've always thought that I did the right thing for my sister and for my family. And that time wasn't all miserable. I was very close to my sister and we made things as fun as we could. But I didn't think of it as an abdication of my parents' responsibilities or that they were doing wrong by me, which many of you pointed out. I definitely have a lot to think about. Yeah, therapy, girl, therapy. And low contact or no contact might not be a horrible idea for your mental health. All right, so we have an update. Sometimes you can only laugh. Just got off the phone with my cousin who saw this post and said that he could explain a few things. He told me that after my conversation with my mom, she went to his house and talked to my aunt. And here's the deal. Turns out my sister is not only in a relationship with Ben. I'm not equipped to handle this story. I am not equipped. I'm untrained. Take it from my work plate. But she is 4 months pregnant. I'm an aunt to my sister's child with my boyfriend. Because technically, they got pregnant while y'all were together. So, yippee. Wow. I'm going to pray for you. Which means she and Ben were hooking up for longer than I even guessed. Apparently, my parents are so adamant that I forgive her because I'm already ruining their experience of their first grandchild. That's right, I'm less important than my stepmom posting ultrasounds to Facebook. This is where I'm at. Anyhow, I called out of work sick the rest of the day and I'm going to drink a lot of alcohol. Like, a lot of alcohol. Just be safe. Be safe. The next update came the next month, October 6th. 2 things to clarify before I update. I didn't have a bad childhood. The favoritism started when my sister was diagnosed. I moved out soon after and I've been pretty independent since then. Not saying that how my parents treated me during those years was a-okay, but I wasn't Cinderella. I did not drink myself into oblivion. I had 2 white wine spritzers, but I appreciate the concern. Anyhow, the update. I got in touch with my sister and I asked her to meet up again at the park. No bill involved this time. I asked her if she was pregnant and she told me the truth. She said she wanted us to still be in each other's lives and that she wanted me to be in her baby's life. A Redditor, I forget who, mentioned that she may ask me to be the godmother and that person was correct. But as many of you pointed out, if I didn't cut her off, I would just become her bank and daycare employee. So I told her I could no longer be in her life and I left her crying on a park bench and I felt like the crappiest person in the world. I emailed my parents and I told them how betrayed I felt and that I'd be cutting off contact with them too. To my stepmom's credit, she apologized. She explained that she never thought my sister would live to have kids and that she let her emotions get the better of her, which is understandable. My dad said nothing, which is honestly what sucked the worst about all of this. Ben tried messaging me from a burner account for the first time since the breakup, but I blocked him without reading it. I forgot about Ben. I forgot about his part in all of this and how terrible it is because I was thinking about the sister betrayal. I didn't go nuclear and post the story to Facebook, as some of you suggested, but I sent an email to the extended family members who I care about. I explained the situation and how I've been distancing myself from my family. Some have made it an us versus them situation, and as much as I appreciate the support, feeling like I'm in some battle just makes me more tired. So I haven't been talking to much of anyone in my family. I feel lonely and crappy, but I think I made the right decision. Girl, you gotta heal from this. And with healing, you might need some space. Next update came the next month, November 24th. Quick update, I'm still not in touch with my family, but I know that Ben and my sister are having problems. I know this because he showed up at my place and cried for 3 hours. How dare you leave the update at just that? I want to know what he said. How inconsiderate of my feelings. I'm just kidding. All right, the next update. Brand new year. January 1st, 2022. Will things get better? Probably not. My ex is expecting a baby with my stepsister within the next 6 weeks or so. Since I found out about the pregnancy, he has tried to get in touch with me 6 times. Through email, text, burner accounts. He has tried to get mutual friends to talk to me for him and showed up to my place the one time. He told me he was sorry, he loves me, he doesn't want to be with my stepsister and wants to get back together with me. I told him, too bad. He made his bed and now he's got to lay in it with her. I haven't dated much since July because of my life's implosion, but in November, a friend from college messaged me out of the blue. We hadn't talked in a long time. He, 27 male, referring to as X2 for the rest of the post. Oh, so clearly that didn't work out then if he's an X. So he and ex number one were good friends, but had a falling out over something fantasy football related the year after we graduated, and I stopped talking to him out of solidarity or whatever. Anyhow, we go on a date. We click. We go on a few more dates. We become exclusive in early December. So you're dating Ben's frenemy? I was feeling really hopeful about this until this morning. I was supposed to meet X2 at a New Year's party last night. He got there before I left the house and texted me saying that Ben was at the party and asked whether I still wanted to come. I declined and I went to another friend's house and I had a pretty good time. I tried calling X2 at midnight and he didn't pick up. I didn't think much of it. Anyhow, I go to bed late and when I wake up this morning, I have a message from X2 saying that we're done. I couldn't even respond because he blocked me everywhere. I talked to a friend who was at the party that my exes were at last night, and he said the two of them had spent a good chunk of time chatting with each other, but he didn't know what they were talking about. I'm not close with anyone else who's at the party, so I don't really have anyone else to ask. Like, okay, it was a 2-month-old relationship, but I'm sad. But the paranoid part of my mind is really concerned that Ben said something that resulted in ex number 2 becoming ex number 2. Ex number 2 has made it abundantly apparent that he doesn't want to talk to me again, and I don't want to push that boundary. But I'm so confused. I could contact Ben, but I got the feeling that it would be a floodgate of drama. I could also try talking to my other mutual friends to see if they heard anything, but I also don't really want to spread this as a rumor if it wasn't true. I don't know. I'm at a loss. Any advice here? I'm spiraling thinking that my ex is going to try to ruin every relationship I have for the rest of my life. That's exactly what happened. For sure. Ben's probably like, we're getting back together. You didn't know? We've been chatting. Or he just like made up some horrible, untrue things about you. But like, why is X2 listening to your ex-boyfriend and then just like blocking you? Very immature. Before the next update, we're gonna hydrate. We're hopping on a hydration station. Drink your water. You need it. Cheers. I have lemon water today, although it could use a little more lemon. Those who have been asking will be happy to know that I'm in my hometown all this week and I have been vlogging for my shorts channel that I said I was going to start posting long form content on. It's gonna be personal stuff. I'm in the process of vlogging. The first video will be going up in December. So if you don't want to miss it, make sure you subscribe. It's at Life with Joss. It's linked in every video description. Why am I out of breath? I feel like I said all of that and I didn't take a breath between sentences. Or I'm just really out of shape. We'll never know. So far 2022 is not in fact a better year, but there's still hope. The next update is January 16th. So I woke up on New Year's Day to that text saying we're done. When I tried getting in touch with him, I found out he had blocked me everywhere. Turns out he met someone at the New Year's party and hooked up with her. So I was very wrong. I would apologize to Ben, but he sucks. So instead of telling me, he just blocked me everywhere and sent a lame text message to me a few weeks later with the real story and a half-assed apology. I want to be angry, and maybe part of me is, but as I'm sitting here, I'm just thinking, what if it's me? What if I'm just not lovable? What if it's never going to happen for me? The thing is, I've been a pretty confident person. I went through BS as a kid, but I got through it and I grew stronger. I'm pretty good looking, though I've admittedly put on a little bit of weight in the past few weeks. I've been told that I'm fun, I hold down a good job and make decent money. I also live life according to my values. I've always put my family and partner first because that's just what I believed should be done. And I thought that I would be prioritized in turn. I've lost most of my family because they would rather have my stepsister's baby in their life than me. My friends have been fair weather for the most part, and I know that I'm a laughing stock in my friend group as much as they pretend to pity me to my face. I feel the little spark I've always had fading. I don't chime in on conversations anymore. I've stopped putting on cute clothes when I go out. I don't plan anything, so I don't have anything to be disappointed about. Not sure what to do anymore and who to talk to. Oh girl, you're just down in the dumps. We've all been there. And that's when your mind starts playing these tricks on you, where it starts saying, maybe it's you. Maybe you're not good. No, we are not going to self-destruct, girlfriend, okay? You are gonna rise above it, but it's just gonna take some time. We have another update, but it is 1 year and 9 months later. So I'm hoping that she's having a better year. It came September 9th, 2023. Hello! So it's been a minute, but I still get messages from folks asking how I've been, and I'm up too early and a little bored, so I thought I would give you an answer. I'm good. Made a lot of really positive changes in my life, and I am in a much better place physically and mentally than I was last year. To answer some specific questions, no, I'm not in contact with my family. The last straw was in spring of 2022. My dad emailed me to ask if we could get lunch and talk. Me, having always harbored the secret and foolish hope that we'd reconcile and go back to normal, I agreed. I arrived at the restaurant and waited 2 hours. When my server gave me free dessert in the house with a pitying look, I called it and went home. Later, I got an email from my stepmom, which I'm sure was full of excuses, but I didn't even read it. But the really positive outcome of that was that it made me realize that I needed to move far away and never come back, which I did. I'd always been really scared to move away from my family, but since I don't have one anymore, I ended up somewhat spontaneously moving halfway across the country. The spontaneous move was stressful and expensive, but I can now say that moving was one of the best decisions of my life. I ended up reconnecting with an old friend and falling in with her friend group, who are the loveliest people. Oh, good morning, she says at 2 p.m. I don't even know what time it is. I've never felt safer or more supported, and I feel so lucky to have them in my life, and it is less humid here. That's a big win. One of our friends is a counselor who helped me find a therapist that I really click with, and it took a few tries and a therapist who didn't immediately want to do CBT with me, which just isn't my thing, but I found someone I really connect with. I'm now doing IFS therapy, and it has really changed my relationship with myself and helped me realize all the hurt and pain I've been holding on to and start to heal. So y'all were right, and I needed to go to therapy. Give yourselves a pat on the back for that one. I did say it. I also got diagnosed with depression, and I'm taking medication for that. It was a bit hard to stomach as someone who has always saw her value as being the happy person who takes care of everyone all the time. But it turns out that sometimes when your needs aren't met as a kid, you end up becoming the happy person who takes care of everyone all the time. Because you're afraid that if you show the slightest bit of unhappiness, you won't be loved anymore, and that's just messed up. I also met a guy, and I know what you're all saying. Papaya, no! No! Your decision making around men cannot be trusted. But I assure you that he's different. Instead of rolling his eyes when I'm feeling off, he'll either just quietly lay on the couch with me or go for a walk. Or he'll say really dirty things to me in his spot on Kermit the Frog voice until I'm laughing so hard I can't focus on anything else. I'm just picturing that in my head. And bonus, he is far too busy painting D&D minis to find the time to cheat on me, so I'm not even worried about that. I did have to invest in a somewhat elaborate Renaissance fair costume, which is not something I had imagined for myself, but I'm having a great time. I'm gonna marry this dude someday. As for Ben and my sister, as far as I know, they are still together. Every so often, she tries to get in touch with some manner of burner account, but I ignore all of it. I'm still bummed that I'm not going to be part of my siblings' life, and I do honestly still really miss my family, but I know this is right for me. Sorry I don't have much juicy info on them, since I know you're all really here to hear about their karmic downfall or whatever, but on my end, things are good, better than they were before I found out I was being cheated on. My current life is built on real contentment, not disguised as shallow happiness. It's not perfect, and I have a lot of problems that I'm working through, but I'm proud of myself, and I think my mom would be too. And then we have a surprising, very short update that came 8 months later. Now we're at May 19th, 2024. It's been years since the story started. And it says, simple, I'm engaged. So I guess she really was gonna marry that dude. So someone commented on the engagement post and said, like, don't contact and tell your family about your engagement. And OOP wrote back saying, wasn't planning to, but they already found out because the internet is a menace. My dad is apparently having a total hissy fit because my fiance didn't ask for his permission. Why would he ask? You're not in my life. Anyways, let's check out some of the top comments. Someone wrote, the thing that pissed me off the most in this story is her dad standing her up at the restaurant. There's so much suck in this story, but how the hell do you set that up and then just not go? Like, that dad didn't commit a crime, but I want him arrested. There are so many people, listen, words to live by. Do you know how many people in this world, I'm like, they didn't commit a crime, but jail time. Belong behind bars. Next comment. The dad chose constantly to, number one, parentify the hell out of his kid through the teenage years to fulfill the duties that were his as a father to the stepdaughter. Number two, supported the stepdaughter in cheating and betraying his own daughter and cutting her off if she didn't accept it. And number three, ditched her after meeting with her. And now he is the one throwing a fit because the fiance didn't ask for permission? The nerve. Jail time. Next comment. They literally threatened to go no contact with her if she didn't support her stepsister and ex's relationship, then got angry when she didn't support it and went no contact. Like, she literally did what they suggested they would want to do if she didn't act the way that they wanted. Yeah. Manipulation. Narcissist. Next comment. This is why I am so glad that my parents didn't give me that leeway when I was the sick teenager. Yes, sleep more than others and make accommodations for the physical and emotional toll, but I wasn't allowed to use that as an excuse to be rude or mean to others. My sister and I were ruthless to each other, but it was unrelated to my illness. Childhood illnesses should be about getting some extra dessert and occasionally skip class, not to be a nuclear bomb in the family. Interesting perspective from someone who is like on the other end of that. Let me know your thoughts on all of this, you guys. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy. I'll see you tomorrow.